Uh, yeah, we have a bone to pick with you. Um, Now look, we were members of the pot parade. It used to be a very peaceful, fun thing, and then it changed because the hip hoppers joined and they wouldn't get off the stage. They were taking joints, putting it in their pockets, so it became a chore. However, this was a peace rally to legalize marijuana. That's what need marijuana to get along. If that's all it takes, hey. And we'd march through the streets. We smoke pot. We like it a lot. This campaign, they can't arrest us all, so light up. It's the one day it's legal. But that's because we weren't hurting anybody. Jaywalking, what legalized that? Again, it was us. Us New Yorkers. New Yorkers are when you do not meet certain obligations, and then you're not a true New Yorker. When my quota drops like that, excuse me. No, I can't afford to be. Uh, this was an argument, fact stated, a debate. What we did not know is that we were human trafficking victims of Section 8 employees that were doing some really malevolent things. You're on probation. You're not allowed. They did not state you're not allowed to know the rules for 2 years. Just you're on probation for 2 years. I think it's around 10,000. I don't know. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm owed 15. I don't. After they told me to forge checks, when I called, depends on what apartment you're in, who your building manager is. I told this to my therapist, who's going to be fired because she's, oh yeah, the other time, and what, I don't know. Oh really? For starters, you're supposed to report threat to themselves and others. So, AKA this narcissism that has individuals terrorized was supposed to be arrested by the police. That now, which came first? The guy with the chip on his shoulder and vendetta that does not stop because he can't. This cannot be stopped without an intervention. An intervention. Arrest means to stop, whether police in handcuffs or a member from the church that says, "Hi, we're here to say hello. Now we're doing this not nice thing to this lady. How would you like to help us arrest all the police across the United States, Canada, and Europe instead?" That'll give him something to do so he doesn't need to chew on helpless victims exercise their ego and then leave us for dead. So, AKA, this is terrorism. What's supposed to get arrested without a trial. So, I'm talking to you, police. LAPD is who I'm personally talking to. However, this black video is to be edited so that it addresses every police of every city except Port Jervis, New York. They're the only ones that do not see this as their idea of a good time. But because you were told by the guys, after we fired 2/3 of all of LAPD because they were treating it like a big fat joke, I was screaming for 3 hours, yelling at them. Is she armed? Did she do this? I said, no, I am. I'm the one with the weapon. I'm the one armed. I'm what's keeping her from the tent. And you know how bad I want to say, look, me and my brother, who was dying at the time, is uh, cloning is possible. It wouldn't be legal, so that's on the to-do list. However, we were trying to start a fucking line of cocaine. We should have just done it. However, she kept coming up to, she was intimidated, putting her face up, intimidated. Now, I wish they would have said, lady, we know you just want to do drugs with your brother. Now, why are you worried about what she thinks it says when she's obviously crazy? She said, well, she was saying things to me, but that was all I would have needed to have started a line right in front of LAPD. Because everything's a big fat joke. They said they were there. They drove by and waved with this shit-eating grin on their face. Now, this isn't joke time, and you're cops. You have to go to jail. Sorry that the guys that we fired but did not arrest, they have to go to jail too. Oh, there's too many of you, and the narcissist. There's just too many, like the jaywalking and what legalized it, and that's what's legalizing terrorism. No problem. There's enough good people. We can get buildings donated through charity. We'll just we'll buy more jails with more prisons, very large prisons with many floors. We'll put all of you in one building. We'll make a building as big as a tower. Big as the Twin Towers were. One tower should be enough for all of you. And I am referring to what they're calling narcissists that are really terrorists, and they're cornering victims. It's not mental abuse, it's worse. It is very specific strategy, and the MO, plan of action, is, I know this, I learned this at college, but in AI analysis and the board of psychology, first of all, when you get your license, you have to register your knowledge as a weapon. Not your mind, but your knowledge. You know this, the tricks, stonewalling, what it does, how it strips a person of all defense. That is all the proof we need that they're taking hostage. Downright taking hostage. But domestic violence, but it's not a spouse, what the definition would be a series of assaults, a series of relentless assaults with the MO plan to beat a person so senseless. And since they handpick people that are significantly smaller for it to be declared car versus pedestrian, we are obliged to not call the endurers of this victims. For the same reason why we don't call children that. Because it's power stripping. It's degrading, it's power stripping, and it's wrong. When it's that over the top, right by might, calling anyone a victim that is put to this it's just unethical. Not a law, but a code of ethics that we have to sign. And that does not mean that people who have learned this from a magazine can just have a field day in the killing spree. Because David Loesch befriended students to evade that attendance list. It's 20 years later, but because I have found all the paperwork I need, it is human trafficking, a form of it. I have to have many people arrested. I cannot pick my battles. I have to get arrest warrants for them all. While you, police officers, are you proud of yourselves? And by the way, why are you making these ransom demands but not naming your price? Name it already. What, the paperwork too tedious? We'll do our paperwork. We'll do it. And this would have to be stated with the protesters in the background. We'll do the damn fucking paperwork. And we're not going to, we have every right to sue because now we're being manipulated into doing your job, or you're not going to arrest. That is blackmail, and it's not emotional blackmail. It's enough you're all going to jail if you don't do your jobs, but we'll do the damn fucking paperwork for now. And we'll talk about the money owed that the city does not have. The city does not have enough money to pay us all. So the ones that are in the, just like me, I'm the one that would be the hostage of a rock star who tricked me into helping him commit suicide for this power. Is he alive by cloned? He doesn't need to be. He's trained to survive without a body. Astral projection, clairvoyancy, and a very simple exercise. Well, he's got a brain cavity of 15 centimeters that enables him to. He can do it, we can't. We would die if we exercise. A muscle that is underneath the skull cavity will die once you pump that muscle. He can do that until he's no longer human and is definitely evil, of Nephilim stature. Peter Steele, type of negative to be exact. The statements he makes, he says my name in plain English, and I don't know why it took me 20 years to figure it out. When it's plain as day, in plain English, he does very specific songs, very specific words. He tells his fans, be the name to all bewitched, not be spoken, no laws broken. Night's living death, which rhyme insane. Dusty. My name is Dusty Dane. It doesn't take a freaking lobotomized idiot to figure out. Oh, and his clairvoyancy, the built his home upon the rock to guide the flock, and everybody else won't live to see noon. He's telling his fans, I'll kill you if you don't keep this woman in a state of constant siege and so hostage to sabotage relentlessly because I'm a sick bastard and I said so. Like, so basically, I'm the mandrake root, and once the acne cleared, they're ready to be chopped up and put in a stew. Like, I'm the main ingredient needed for the kingdom come, thy will be done. One sacrifice is all that's needed, and the fact that she's screaming no, that would definitely poison the broth. His goal is World War V. He's not going to keep his promise, even if you do what you're told. And what he said, well, then, these instructions are left with the band members who try to erase the tracks which says my name, but couldn't completely. It's not heard as beautifully as you could and clearly as you could before. Unless I can get, I'm sure they bought out all of the old albums. This is my situation. That I'm rattling on when I'm supposed to be directing a message to all police officers. We'll do the damn fucking paperwork. See how traumatized I am? I could not stay focused and won't be able to without a friend. I told a couple people that I trust that I need this kind of fast and furious because we're also traumatized. The Supreme Court is in their matrix box, running around clucking like a chicken, just like me. We're all chickens without heads. Well, what to do? We need an intervention. But how do we communicate with each other? Satellite radio has wiped out telephone lines to the point of extinction. I yelled at Howard Stern for that. So I am going to put this, I'm going to download and post this, even though it's discombobulated in 3 subjects, so mushmakai into one. But everybody yell at Howard Stern because he admitted, but he's like, good question, I don't know. What? I thought satellite radio was an actual satellite in the sky. That just means that they can do it from their home on a desktop, even a smartphone. So why would that cancel out the telephone lines? Talking to the listeners is what it's all about. K-Rock and Giuliani and Howard Stern, very good friends. The only thing they didn't agree with was the strip club and its prohibition. He wanted to make a red light district, but since you cannot get a cabaret license unless it was issued to the building 100 years, nothing short of a time machine is going to make that dream come true, Mr. Giuliani. Like, the fact that they don't issue them anymore means the wouldn't that mean that the restriction has been outlawed? Like, I don't know. I don't care. The only thing I care about is it to have made that dream come true. You would have had to have issued new licenses as opposed to telling everybody they better have a time machine. That was dumb. Mistakes that were made. You have a plan, but you can't issue new ones. I do want an explanation as to how we're going to make this red light district happen, and everybody yell at Howard Stern because he will explain for his friend Giuliani that is either too busy or just we have a lot of fans that want to kill us for no legitimate reason. Some are legit, some aren't. But to go up to Adolf Giuliani, who is a reincarnation of Adolf Hitler, by the way, um, but a better person. He is a good man. He always was. The only reason he did what he did is because the Screen Actors Guild told him, "No, we're not going to let you become an actor because you're only half Jewish." That pissed me off, and that's when I became Jewish by choice. I said, "Hey, my last name is a religion." I said it was a religion. My mom said, "They would expect you to be Hebrew, not Israeli, Hebrew." But what the? I was like, "No, this is wrong." My sister was allowed to go to Jews because you're Jewish, then you can't. I knew that was wrong. If you're not Jewish, you can't go to Jewish. Yes, you can. Just like you can visit a church and you can become a born again Jew. It's more expensive. They offer to pay for the stuff, you know, even though you have money, they do offer to pay for it because the first thing they do is throw your pots and pans out the window. Then they tell you are to eat Chinese food for the rest of your life. it's we do because it's kosher. Tuna fish is always kosher. Otherwise, when you shop, you have to look for that little R with the circle around it. So it's easier to eat the Chinese food. But they do throw your pots and pans out the window. They say you should change your name while you can, because if shit hits the fan and you need money without changing your name, um, can you remember this address and the phone number to get the certificate? Oh, sure. No. Do you remember the name of the synagogue? No. The location? Oh, sure. It was Rego Park, 63rd Street, or the one walking distance from my house that was on 63rd. No, I don't. No, I don't. Um, so he said, you can still get the help, but you have to do some fancy dancing. If you don't have a certificate, you did not change your name. Now, while you can, while we're here to walk you through it. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll do it later. I'm loaded. I'm not worried about it. And guess what? She was right. Damned if I freaking remember. The nice lady who came into my house threw the pots and pans out the window with a vengeance. And she almost hit somebody accidentally. She had good aim. I know she did that on purpose. And I admit, I did that. You don't know how bad I wanted to tip her. I wanted to give her a huge gratuity because it was just so fucking funny. But that is how to become a born again Jew, and you are allowed to visit. So what they did was wrong, and it was a congregation like Board of Psychology. It was a large enough congregation to where um, you can't blame them for some of it, and then the over the top. That's what happens when a cock block starts blocking his own cock, and everybody keeps saying to themselves and each other, "Oh, just tell yourselves that you're better than that. Address your low self-esteem." The guy's got a machine gun, and he's wiping everybody out. Now, this seemingly narcissism is really terrorism. What they're doing is this exactly: they are antagonizing your emotions. They bait, then they switch, bait and switch, because they know that it's going to antagonize your emotions to where your adrenal glands are going to start overproducing certain chemicals. It's not the kind of shock that makes a motor lift car for It's drill sergeant tactics. They're learning from these books. The drill sergeants do this for their soldiers so you can survive the battlefield. These bastards are the battlefield and attacking civilians who did not have the training. And I can have these statements backed by the U.S. Army and the Board of Psychology to have them arrested yesterday. But it needs exposure. And I need Adolf Hitler's reincarnation, who came back, is back as a better person. Mr. Rudolph Giuliani, my friend and extended family. We did become a family. When I met him, he could tell us upset. I said, "Look, I hated you until a guy said the joy of wearing shorts in the winter in front of the mayor," and I was like, "Wow." If it wasn't for Rudolph Giuliani, it was a rough ride at first, but I would not be backstage. I would not be a walking backstage pass. I would not. I can go anywhere without even wearing my pass. We're a massage therapy team, but anybody who does these kinds of jobs, it's to get backstage, and we're professional enough. We're not going to be a nuisance or do anything creepy or stupid. The only time I let Papa Roach autograph my underwear because I was like, I normally don't do this, but since my boyfriend who keeps winning all these tickets, he just like we all we would sit around Ben because we knew Ben would win tickets every time he called, so everybody would be hanging on Ben like you better. And me, it's like, look, I'm here to make business connections. If I have to leave and you leave, I have other connections, but he is guaranteed because he would always win. That they told me he wasn't allowed to do any more. Everybody was not eligible for 2 months. because he sabotaged the business meet and greet with Jesse Camp after. Jesse wrote a song about me. I gave my phone number, but artists are very sensitive. That was capsized and they avenged it. But Jesse, how come they did not rearrange, rebook another meet and greet after that faux pas? I don't know. So, Jesse, if you get this message, when you're alone at night, no one to hold you tight, and it's yourself that you are hating. The light is shining bright as sunset at night, at the rainbow once been waiting. No, you're never lonely in Hollywood, we're always searching for their heart. At least we have each other in this lost land of the dark. In this lost land of the dark. And that's how it is. On a good day, us artists, we run into the guys from Lamore's East and Cat Club, and then I run into these guys here, and I was kind of insulted, but degraded. But when I got here, randomly here, like that's when you get instant best friends, because this is a home. Like we at a club, we have to in New York with the numbers game. But now we do not have the minions, the countless amount of gorgeous guys here in LA that would protect us from the abusive nature of what they call narcissism, but it's not. It's something else. Um, and it's illegal. In back when, like, well, hey, I'm the creator. I can have the pick of the litter because I'm the best looking guy in that. They know that. That does not need a law to arrest them because we beat the shit out of them if they go too far. So they only go so far in New York. People do. They just regular people witnessing it. The guy that said, "Hey, beautiful," after I was terrored and I wound up attacking him, he, I found out later, he knew what happened and why, and he punched the guy who drove me to that. The guy that was making out with me, then acting crazy, and then took off and left me like, oh, hey, after one too many people were doing this for, they knew that I had been through enough, too much. And I found out later the guy that I trashed, he stuck up for me and he punched that other guy. Because we're New Yorkers. If we don't intervene and stick up for each other, the mortal reality says what? What? Mortal reality says what? What? Why? Because us New Yorkers, we talk. Because survival is obliged. And to not is not allowed. We're New Yorkers. We talk because we survive, because we're New Yorkers. And New York is expensive because if you want to make it, you'll find a way to pay that rent. Because if you're not there to make it, that's why we have charged so much to keep the riffraff out. Because we're there to make it. But LA is too. So playtime's over, kids. This means you, Nolan. Just be honest, stop lying, stop dodging, stop being an ass, start being fair. And to all guys that are fucking with a girl's head, look, here's the rules. It's very simple. Your dick is the boss. All of us only work here, whether we have competition to keep you in line or not. Because it's not about that. LA's a family too. Meet me at the Rainbow. And Eric, I will buy you that blender so you can put peanut. That's the problem. Eric took pina coladas off the menu and he needs a new blender, put it back on the menu, and that's the only way that we are officially in LA. So, on a subconscious level, we are still on the Greyhound. And will be until Eric puts those pina coladas back on the menu. So, let's just get him that new blender. All right, be good.